What are we doing? No, wait.
Welcome back.
What is your name? All right, what is your quest? All right, nothing? God, if my son was sitting here right now, okay. You know, just let the intro play. Let the intro play. Hang on. Okay, now that the intro's over. Seriously? What is your quest? Nothing? What is your name?
I am Cornholio.
No, dude. If my son was sitting here, he would come across the table at you right now.
He would unfriend me.
Oh, 100%. What? Of course she knows. Okay, you know what? Gosh.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Of course.
All right, man. We've got a full room here today.
Yes.
So we've got. Oh, you know what? On the last episode, I didn't say who we are. Doesn't matter. We're talking Winter with Swinter. Here we are. My name's Ken Bogan, Jason Duggan, Adam Hunter, Brent Reeder. We've got Nicole Bogan sitting over there, of course, at her computer, working, diligently keeping the lights on so the rest of us can have cocktails and play on microphones. And what?
You're welcome.
Yep, thank you. And Kristen Parrish is also here as well. That's right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Yeah, she kind of looked at me a little cross-eyed, like, seriously? You
We're just trying to fill out her day.
Yeah, it's fine. Yep. No, Kristen's new to the team, learning stuff, hanging out with us. This is great. This is really good. This is good learning experience here.
'Tis but a scratch.
Flesh wound.
Flesh wound.
That's right.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm sorry it took me a minute for that to kick in, but
it's all right. I'm going to let that go too.
You should. You should let a lot of things go.
Yeah, I know. You just can't keep them. It's fine. All right. So, all right. You know what we're going to do today?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. All right. I was going to say we just finished briefing this, for crying out loud.
Well,
okay.
Yeah, of course we know. We just briefed it.
Yeah, okay. All right. So, okay. This one is going to be one of those episodes where if you read the description and you're one of our many, many people that are now downloading this thing, which is pretty awesome. Thank you.
Because I'm sending out links.
That's fine.
Great job, Jason.
Yeah, nice job. It's all you. It's all about Jason. So no, seriously, like if you're one of those people and you read the description, you're like, okay, I want to know about this because we're going to say the buzzword that makes everybody all hot and bothered. Everybody gets emotionally compromised and instantly concerned about the conversation. When you mention, wait for it. Wait, I got to find the right. Hang on. What's the right one? Hang on.
Drum roll.
Let's go. I don't think I have a drum roll. I don't. I do have rim shot. Doesn't really count. It's not the same thing. It's good. No,
that one might work.
What are we talking about? Jesus?
No,
Hookers and blow?
Dude, I've got.
Nope.
Hang on a second.
What is it? What is it?
No.
Okay.
You know what?
Yeah. The buzzword
I've got snoring, but I don't have that. No.
Speaking of 1970s and 80s game shows.
Yeah, man.
The buzzword is nationals.
National companies.
Say it with us, Brent.
National companies.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, wait. Oh, try it again.
He didn't get turned on.
Your volume was down since last episode.
Yep.
Man, that's why Brett was so quiet on the last one. He's like, man, none of these guys listen to me. We know it's fine. Yeah, no, national companies, man. So, okay. So if you were to jump on any type of social media anywhere, right? The discussion of national companies it's always there. It's been there for 15 years. I mean, this is nothing new. And you know what? We're not here to dissuade your existing opinion. Nope. Because no matter what
whether it be good or bad,
you have an opinion.
That's right.
Right. You have an opinion, and it's one way or the other. So what we do want to try to do is we want to try to touch on something that has come up in conversations that we've had with contractors over the last couple months, talking to people all over the country, is that there's this huge thing with national contractors, and a big deal is they're out there. And it's so hard to compete with them. And it's hard to get out from under their shadow. And if you want a big parking lot, you got to work for a national. If you want big work, blah, 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 right? I mean, there is a huge disdain and a huge, what am I looking for here, man? Like, it's like
nationals have a specific place.
Yes.
And it's good.
Well, okay.
How you look at it, and it can be bad.
There is a common view, right, of national companies that is not necessarily the greatest.
I think it's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, it's opinion.
Honestly.
It's opinion based.
I mean, I think that you've got
specifically. I'm talking about social media because that's where we started here.
Okay, that's fair.
You see a lot of
you
it
do
there,
not
sure.
see social media posts praising a national provider.
I agree.
Yay, national provider ABC has been so good to me. You know why? Because those people that are working for national providers that have had great experiences, they don't have anything to share on social media.
Brent, what were you going to say?
So how many people in this room have actually worked for a national?
My hand's up.
So is mine, Adam. Okay,
Yep.
so I didn't know. I remember you did, but yeah.
I did it more so on the landscape side of things.
When you work for them, you learn there's good ones, there's mediocre ones, and there's a very tiny amount of ones that are great.
Well, and regardless of whether they're good or great or bad or whatever,
They all have something to offer.
they're out there, and I think that it's important. It's kind of the first step, I think, in being in this industry is understanding why they're there. So I think if you understand why the nationals have a role, that helps ease the blow a little bit, right? So if you're a national retailer, right, you don't want your individual store managers having to be burdened with picking all of their vendors for things, right? And you don't want them, you especially don't want them on the hook for something that is as litigious as snow removal is. I mean, you may have a $100,000 bill for snow and ice management services, and that may be 1/10 of a small slip and fall claim. So, I mean, you're talking great big potential numbers here. So what you want to do is you want to shed that liability by hiring another company and saying that company is responsible for this, right? So then that company is the national. And so right there, that is a big enough reason to have nationals. And whether you're a big box retailer or you're a chain of, and I don't know if, there's a window cleaning outfit that I saw around here that they've got, little trucks and they've got their little logo on there and they do window cleaning. And we were in Nebraska plowing 2 years, that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It has been 2 years now.
Yeah. Anyway, we're up there pushing snow, and I saw the same company in Lincoln. I'm like, well, wait a minute, what the hell? And I looked, they're a massive national chain of window cleaning companies. Well, if they have their own outfits, it would behoove them to outsource to a single source vendor and not have the liability of snow. So that right there in and of itself is the reason to have those guys. Yep. So when you realize that, they're not going anywhere. Now, they're going to change names. They're going to change entities. They're going to go out of business. There's going to be new ones. There's going to be old ones, but they're going to be there. They're going to be there forever. So for those that say, if we just stop working for them, they'll go away. No, they won't.
Nope.
It's not going to happen.
No, because to your point, the retailers, whether it's big box stores or restaurants, whatever, that have a national presence, they don't have the time or the money, frankly, to divvy out 100 different stores to 100 different vendors.
Well, but I don't
they don't want to.
I don't think that's it as much as because the store manager does. I mean, they could say, store manager, here's your scope of work, go hire a vendor. They could totally do that. The difference is in the liability. So when somebody slips and falls, they know that slip and fall could be on the low side, $15,000 to $25,000. On the high side, millions, and they're self-insured. So that's cash out of their pocket. It's not like there's an insurance company going to pay that. That's them. So it behooves them to hire one single point vendor and say, in this region, you handle all of the snow. Not even all the snow, all of the ice, all of the snow and ice potential claims all go to you, Mr. National or Regional Vendor. Bam. Now they're out of it, right? They've just insulated themselves from that liability because the contract they write, you may have a 5 or maybe 10-page contract for snow. The snow and ice management scope of work that most of the nationals have is going to be somewhere 15 to 25 pages just on the scope of work. That's why, because it's so specific, it's so crystal clear that XYZ big box retailer is not on the hook. That's why they get hired. And you know what? That's just good business, right?
Yeah,
just is. So I think something that we can talk about here today is understanding that that's there. So do you fit with them? Do you not fit with them? And can you compete with them? So let's start with the can you compete with them question.
That's easy. No.
Correct. Yeah, I certainly don't think so. I mean,
no. I mean, and to the point that I was getting at earlier, you're not going to walk into a Home Depot and sell a snow and ice removal contract.
Right.
Not showing light on Home Depot, but you're not going to walk into a national big box retailer and sell your snow and ice removal contract.
Correct.
Not going to happen.
Totally correct. I mean, and realistically, I mean, good for Home Depot. I mean, if I was a shareholder in Home Depot, I would hope that they had the common sense enough to try to mitigate that risk.
Right.
So, so that's something where you're not going to get that account on your own. So there's two different avenues here to talk about. One of them is, if you want properties that size, okay, fantastic. There's other avenues. We're going to talk about that. And the other thing we're going to talk about is when it might be a good idea to work for a national, right? Where do you want to start with?
Let's start with the second one first.
When is a good time to start working for a national?
I can answer that.
Do it.
So as a new contractor, that's probably the biggest group of people that go to work for nationals. You don't have your name out there. You don't know where to go, but you have nationals constantly calling and beating you down. Hey, we have work. You're busy chasing landscaping or concrete or whatever your other business is, and all of a sudden you've been handed, as much work as you could possibly want at prices that you think are okay. And so it's super easy to get in with them and start doing a lot of work, and sometimes you get paid well. Mm-hmm. I always viewed it as they were a great stepping stone.
Yeah.
It helped you get started, helped you learn the do's and don'ts, and wow, that was a bad price. Okay, I learned a lot there. And you really, once you knew that, this really is a stepping stone, you started looking for the better stuff, and you had the skills to sell it, you had the language to sell it, and you actually knew what you're talking about when you're talking to those single entity companies that you're trying to win their business.
Yeah, Brent, can I ask you though? From starting out, of course, I understand the point you're making there, but what about size of as your business grows and as the number of pieces of equipment you have that you can use to utilize for snow and ice removal services? Mm-hmm. Does that play a factor in the size of the company, or does it not? So because are there companies out there with 70 and 80 pieces of equipment that are still doing work for nationals? I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, I mean, nationals is just a generic term, and we keep talking about Home Depots and big stores, but I did tons of work on small 1 acre properties for nationals.
Sure.
I did a lot of stuff.
We use this as an example when we talk about GPS, but
yeah. Well, and we talked to a company in the greater Chicagoland area that has 100 and some odd pieces of equipment and times 2 sidewalk labor, and the vast majority of their work is for nationals.
Okay. So the answer is no, it doesn't really matter the size of your company.
No. And
okay.
And at the end of the day, if you don't get paid by a national, it's your fault. I'll go on the record and say that.
It's absolutely 100% your fault.
And why is that, Jason?
Because there are and Brent, tell me where I go wrong here.
We'll tell you.
There are a number of I's that have to be dotted. There are a number of T's that have to be crossed, and they have to be done in the right order.
Huh? Oh, that's me. I'm tapping my foot.
Oh,
we can't hear.
I thought I was getting.
We can't hear.
Eerie quiet.
I thought I was getting death threats.
Yeah, I know. She was like, "What's going on?" Yeah. Nicole has the thing with if you do this.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, she loses her mind.
I've picked up on that.
Yeah, I was tapping my foot and she heard it.
So you were saying, dot your I's, cross your T's.
Yeah, and not only dot your I's, cross your T's, but dot the I's and cross the T's in the order in which they are prescribed to be dotted and crossed. And once all that's done, you present your package, and there should be no issues. Tell me where I went wrong there.
That's mostly true. The problem is, depending on the company you're working for, will make it sometimes very difficult to make sure you did the process right. Mm-hmm. And I have been shortchanged by companies that I did everything right. They just didn't want to pay the bill, and that was the end of it. And I talked to other contractors who worked for them, and they said, they tend to get you for X percent every year, but you just do so much work that you just kind of let it go. I was like, no, that's not going to happen. And that company went out of business.
Yeah.
So,
well, and when I say it's your fault, here's why. There is no shortage of information available these days. So when you get a bid package from a national, read it. Read every single word from start to finish and understand what those I's to dot and T's to cross are. Okay. Because it's certainly possible that they made it too complicated so they don't have to pay you. That's out there.
And I got caught by that.
Yeah.
By a very big national. I got caught by it, and the manager pointed out, he's like, well, you didn't send this in. I'm like, darn it.
Same.
Sure didn't.
As simple as it could be, if you don't, a lot of them, when you're on site, you have to log in or log out using their app, whatever. Whether that's snow, landscaping, I had more experience with it there. But if you're outside of that GPS location, boom. That's one factor that it doesn't go in your favor.
Well, and so without getting too much into the weeds on that, if you sign a contract, it's up to you to understand what's in that contract, what it says, what your obligations are, what you have to do. You have to know that thing inside and out. So when you get the e-sign, here's your contract, read it. Download it, print it, save it, get a highlighter out, read it. If you don't understand things or you don't know what it is, ask. You have that ability to protect yourself to understand it. And what you don't want to do is come to the end of a season and go, those sons of bitches aren't paying me because blah, 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 blah. Well, you had the opportunity to review that ahead of time. So
a good contract attorney is probably $300 an hour.
Well, no. You can find them a lot less than that.
Okay. But yeah, saying 2-3 hours of a good contract attorney to help you review that could save you from missing out on $3,000-$4,000 worth of payments down the road. That could be an option.
Yeah, and you don't have to have a contract attorney to tell you what that is. That's something we could do here for a whole lot less than that. But
absolutely.
But nonetheless, I do want to, before we get out of time, I do want to move on to some things that you can do to not, maybe not compete with them, but look for similar sized work. So if you're in a scenario where you've got enough equipment that you can handle a big box retail type property, okay, man, awesome. The world is your sandbox, man. Dig it, right? You get in there and figure out what works for you, what's close. The trick is you have to take the time to do that. And it's extremely time consuming trying to find those properties and make it happen. But you certainly can. There's some tools you need to have though. The number one thing that I think you need to do is you have to understand your costs. So by working for a national first, working on properties like that, you have a handle on what your cost is. So you know where to set your pricing. So when you have the conversations with the customers, you're equipped to have that conversation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the beginning of any kind of bidding process, right? It is understanding what it's going to cost you.
Certainly should be.
Or it should be. Yeah.
Certainly should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we had a conversation. Who the hell was that? I don't even, they're unfortunately kind of starting to run together, but we're talking with a guy that wanted to make sure he wasn't leaving money on the table. Right. And so, one of the things that we've seen all across the country in pricing is you use your pricing metric. There's always going to be somebody more. There's always going to be somebody less. The trick is whether or not you can explain to your customer why your price is what it is. So when you can sit down and say, well, my costs are this, my margin, I would like to be this, therefore here is my price. And oh, by the way, this is why my costs are my costs. Now you can justify your price. So two things happen. One, anybody that's less expensive than you doesn't understand in your customer's eyes. They think, okay, well, so-and-so was cheaper. Maybe they just wanted to make less of a margin and they're okay with that, which would be fine. Or maybe they don't truly understand their costs. Maybe this is not a sustainable long-term vendor. Maybe this isn't the right guy for me, right? Flip side of that is when you come in and you explain all those costs and somebody comes in more expensive. Okay, well, now if you've done a good job of explaining that to your customer, now that's just some greedy a-hole.
Yeah.
Right? Make sense?
Even though their cost may be higher, but to them, it doesn't matter.
Well, because you've established that you can do the job.
You can do, exactly.
Right. Yeah. So you can do the job for that price, and here's why. Somebody else that has a higher price, it's the same job.
Yeah.
Yeah, but their costs are more. Okay, well, fine. So once you understand your costs, that puts you in a position where you can now bid from a position of knowledge, authority, and power. And you may be leaving money on the table, but you know what?
For now,
what the hell do you care? At the end of the day, if you're making your margin, make the margin maybe add to it next year.
Right.
You know, you're going to have some that you can have more margin on than less, but you can still manage to pull that off, and you could do it to the same size property that we're working on with the national, and not have to have some of the same, shall we say, heartaches that you may experience working for a national vendor.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think what led us to this is the fact that we have talked to so many people recently who feel like I don't have the tools necessary to get that office complex that's the same size as this big box. So I'm going to go ahead and take this contract with the national provider because I know I can cross the T's, I know I can dot the I's. I'm going to make that money.
And working for the national is easy.
Yes.
You just show up and do the job.
Right. And that's the point that Brent and Adam were both making just a few minutes ago about when you first start out, when you're kind of small, you don't have the name recognition, you don't necessarily have the tools, or as Brent said, the language to bid your own stuff. It's a thing.
Yeah.
And
so what are some
fine.
tools that guys would need to have that they don't have working on their own? Go, Brent. What? It wasn't even us. Oh. Have you twist that thing around? Looks like it came unplugged.
Testes.
That's weird. What'd you do?
I did nothing.
Huh?
Oh.
Try it now. What?
It was working. Work first.
Unplug it, plug in.
It's just meant to be. You weren't supposed to be on this one.
Dude, it's so weird. Did it come unplugged here?
There you go, buddy.
No.
Wait.
Hello.
Oh,
I'm
there
back.
you go.
You had bad connection there.
Oh, there it is. Yep, this one came undone.
All right.
All right, you're good.
So, what was the question?
The tools needed.
So, you know what's funny? What's funny was in the last episode that we recorded, I was talking about how kick-ass our setup is here.
Yeah.
And now this one, God.
Yeah. One guy to the setup.
Yeah, well, whatever. We're on a budget here. We don't charge anything for this. It's fine. So, no, the question was so guys that are trying to get out from under the shadow of the Nationals, what are the tools that they would need that they might not have, to go bid a 9 or 10 acre property?
Just the time to do it. If you're already doing the work for the Nationals, you have everything you need.
Yeah, you're on.
All right,
You're fine.
Yeah, if you're doing that work, you already have it. You just got to take the time to go chase it, and it takes a little bit of time to get things rolling. But once you get your foot in the door for a few places, it will start to snowball for you, and then you'll be chasing work away, or only bidding the stuff that you want to do.
So I might say you've got so you're talking about like the physical
tools. Yeah.
So I'm talking about some of the intellectual tools like Adam.
Salt tracking.
Right.
That just goes into knowing your costs. When you work for a national, you don't necessarily have to do that. They provide everything in the contract most of the time. It all depends on your contract. But when you get into doing your own, it gets down to knowing your numbers. And to know your numbers, you
Still need to know that when you're doing work for nationals.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think the difference. I think the difference is going to be is that to do the work on your own, you need to have the things that don't happen in a storm. So that's going to be the contract. You're going to have the ability to draft the scope of work. You're going to have the ability to really measure the property, to really to document things that are happening. Because when you're working for the national, you're using their contract, their scope of work. You're using their tracking and documentation. You're using all the things that the national provides you. Which, by the way, you still get paid to do the work, and most of them don't make you pay for their stuff. Some of them do.
Right.
But
they're spending the money to get that
the
stuff
difference
done.
is you're using their intel.
Right.
You need to learn that from your perspective when you go out and get your
yes.
properties.
Right. And that's what never worked for a national. Well, I spent 20 years working for a national company, but besides that,
it's a tiny little mom and pop operation.
Yeah, in the snow and ice removal industry, I've never worked for a national, never dealt with them other than people that have come to buy salt from us. But the ability to be able to develop that really professional looking proposal, the ability to sit down with the customer with a property map that is drawn out and is very specific as to what areas need what attention and what areas get what service. That puts you leaps and bounds ahead of the next guy who may not have that.
Well, and so that ties into
And that goes. I think that's more along the intellectual lines of, as opposed to the physical lines.
Right. And I think that's the differentiator that I was looking for there was you have, to Brent's point, you've got the physical equipment. You have the ability to perform that work.
Well, and the experience too, right? That's what you hit on.
Yep.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the only thing that keeps you from doing work from procuring your own customers is your ability to come across as a professional, competent snow and ice management professional, right? So if all of your work is for nationals, you don't have to present yourself with a professional proposal. You don't have to explain your costs. You don't have to sell this, because they just need somebody with insurance to go do the damn job, right? So if you've got insurance and you've got a truck, they might not even ask if you got a truck. If you've got insurance, you're in, right?
I know some guys who've won some 6-figure contracts before they had their first piece of equipment.
Yeah.
Right time, right
Seriously?
place. Yeah.
Oh,
seriously.
100%. It's because, the Nationals, we're talking about liability protection. They want to shed that responsibility and shed that liability. So they don't care if you've got.
No, this is a single entity. Company reached out, hey, do you guys do snow? They said, sure. And they won the bid and been panicked and trying to figure out how to get it going.
Yes. Yeah. So okay, while winning the lottery doesn't happen to everybody, it does certainly happen. Actually, did you guys know there was $1 million lottery ticket just bought? Is it the Chinooks at Gravway Bluffs? Yeah, down in Gravway Bluffs in Fenton, somebody bought $1 million lottery ticket.
Dang it.
I know, right?
And I
Kinda
went to the
sucks.
Chinooks in St. Peter's.
Well, that's because you're in St. Peter's. A bunch of broke ass losers out in St. Peter's.
And that's not true. St. Charles County is the wealthiest county in the state.
I was just kidding. So,
I tend to drag that average number down, but
Adam, boy, that's the way to do it. But yeah, no. So okay. So whether it's all right, is it time?
you
It's time,
drive
gentlemen. Wait, it's time. Shameless plug. So whether it's with SG Advantage or it's somebody else or some other group, if you want to get out from under the shadow of the Nationals and procure your own work, understand there are things that the Nationals bring to the table that you need to be able to compete with.
Right.
You're not going to get a national account, but you might be able to walk into that manufacturing facility or that electrical company, or you might be able to walk into a research laboratory or a trucking facility or who knows what office building, and that has that size parking lot, that size and same scope of work, and make your presentation. And figure out who the person is, but understand, have a good proposal, have a good contract, have a good solid understanding of what it is you do, have branding in place, have a logo, have colors, show up having taken a shower and not smell like you've rolled an onion around in an ashtray. These are all things that are important to do when you want to win a contract and make good. What are you laughing at? Is it the onion in an ashtray?
the onion in the ashtray.
Dude, seriously, we've been at bid meetings where people come walking in and are like, well, I'm not worried about that one.
Yeah.
It's like, take a damn shower before you go to do a sales call. I mean, it's just not that complicated. Yeah. But these are things that you can smell like an onion rolling around in an ashtray and work for a national. No problem there. But you're not going to get your own account if that's how you present yourself. So,
what's the best way to do that? If you
not
decide,
smell like an onion?
No, if you're working for a national and everything's going good, but yet you want to branch out, like you said, but you don't know how to line all those things up, what do you think the best option is?
So that was the shameless plug.
Boom.
Right? That's where you're going to give us a buzz, and we can help you with that, whether it's us or somebody else. Get a mentor in place, somebody that can help you with that. If you want to talk to us, you can do so by calling or texting 314-260-4352. Email us at podcast@swintergroup.com. Or really just, whatever. Email, text, phone call, whatever that's
Email at podcast@swintergroup.com, like you just mentioned. We're on the Twitters.
you know what?
Not really.
I'm not sure about the Twitters. I haven't looked at the Twitters in a
More importantly than
year.
the Twitters, Adam, very, very active with our SG Advantage Facebook group. Page group. What's the proper terminology there? Page?
Link.
Can we be one of those
Page.
like pages where
And
like
the Swinter
we have
group
followers instead of friends? Is that a thing? Is that what it is? Oh, so we have followers, not friends? Do we have any followers? I know it's brand new.
Ken's a little antisocial when it comes to
Well,
that.
my old Facebook account was following it
Till it got
wait.
hacked.
That's right. So the new
until
one.
I got hijacked.
So I should actually accept the new one?
The new one's legit. Yeah.
Oh, I reported the new one.
No. No. Like.
Nobody cares. We got to move on. Hey,
Yeah. Bye.
so- no, we actually do got to get going though. So hopefully this was some helpful information. Hopefully, if it was, let us know. If it wasn't, let us know.
Yep.
Or don't. Whatever. It's all good. So, anyways, we're here from Swinter Group's World Headquarters, St. Louis, Missouri.
A brightly lit recording studios.
It's pretty bright. It's fine. But hey, no, in all seriousness, we really do thank everybody that's listening for listening.
Yes, we do
hope you
appreciate
enjoy it. If there's something you want to hear about, let us know.
Call in,
Obviously,
be a
we're
guest.
struggling for material. Yeah, we'd love to put you on. So, anyways, man, hope it's good. Hope you all have a great rest of the day, whatever it is you're doing.
Yep.
And until next time, we'll see you.
Bye.